proceed. A state's essential function is dash. Now we have to be mindful. The most essential function of a government is to maintain law and order. But according to a Greek philosopher named Aristotle, the major function, most essential function of a state is to promote good life and happiness. So it will be A, maintain law and order is the essential function of government, but the question is asking us for the essential purpose or function of a country or of a state. And what looks like the answer there, that's D, ensure happiness and good life. Now to the next question. Laws used to administer Nigeria before 1954 were dash. It won't be A, bylaws. Bylaws are laws made by local government. It won't be bylaws again because bylaws are laws made by public corporations. It won't be C, statutes. Statutes are laws made by, the legislature. It won't be D, colonial decrees. Britain did not use decrees. Britain used proclamations and ordinances. So the correct answer would have been proclamation, but in the absence of proclamation, we pick B, ordinances. So ordinances were used to govern Nigeria before 1954, but by virtue of the Oliver Lightning Constitution, which gave real legislative powers to the Federal House of Representatives, they were able to legislate on behalf of Nigeria. So before 1954, ordinances, after 1954, Act of Parliament. Now to the next question. The Latin phrase primus inter pares means dash. It means first among equals. And it is a common feature under cabinets and parliamentary system of government, which applies to the prime minister. So A says prime ministerial, that's wrong. B says first of many. It looks like it should be correct, but it is faulty. First of many. First means he is number one amongst many persons who might not be equals. So B is faulty. C says head of state, that's totally wrong. D says first among peers. So amongst many persons who should be equals is counted as number one. So instead we say first among equals or first among peers. Option D. Now to the next question. Which category we have their say under republicanism? Thousands of years ago in Greece, particularly in the capital of Greece called Athens, the city of Athens, they saw Syracuse, they saw Rhodes, they saw Sparta, they saw Corinth, they saw Thessalonica practicing different systems of government, and they gathered their philosophers together that we want you guys to invent a system of government for us that we can practice. Many of them reasoned, and a man called Cleisthenes, thousands of years ago, invented the idea of democracy. And that democracy is called, direct democracy or classical democracy. That was a democracy practiced in ancient Greece in the city of Athens. But in modern times, where everybody cannot gather to take decisions in a particular place, we need to elect representatives to represent us. That type of democracy practice in modern times is called indirect democracy, representative system, or republicanism. So under this republicanism or indirect democracy, when 100 persons are given the opportunity to vote, 70 might vote for A, 30 will vote for B. So the 70 constitutes the majority. They will have their way. Are you getting? While the minority, the 30, even though their interest will not prevail, but they would have been given the opportunity to contribute their opinion. So which category will have their way? The majority. Which category will have their say? The minority. What looks like minority here? Option D. So the correct answer is option D. Now to the next question. Who expanded on the transience of government? You have to be mindful. Transience means ephemeral, something that changes constantly. People say life is transient, life is ephemeral. So transience means something temporal. So you can say that who wrote on the ephemeral nature, temporariness of state? According to a Greek philosopher named Oyo, he said, governments of states will come and go, but that state in itself is immortal. So a state does not die. Egypt has been since Genesis. Israel has been since Genesis. They are now and they will always be. But the governments of those countries will change periodically, every 4 years, every 5 years, as the case may be. So who wrote on the fact that states are immortal, but governments can change? That is Oyo. Which option is that? Option D. That's the correct answer. Now to the next question. Which Nigerian pre-colonial society was totalitarian? To be totalitarian means to have a ruler who exercises absolute power and control over the political system to be authoritarian, to be totalitarian, to be despotic, to be dictatorial, to be tyrannical. And that was practiced in the Hausa precolonial system, whereby all governmental powers were concentrated. Powers of the executive, of the judiciary, of the legislature, they were all convoluted and amalgamated in the hands of the emir, who was the head of an emirate under Hausa precolonial system. It won't be Tiv. Tiv practiced democracy. They were not totalitarian. It won't be Igbo. Igbo was democratic. They were taking decisions, gathering all the elders, called the Council of Elders, the Ofo. It won't be Yoruba. Even though Yoruba had an Alaafin, but the Alaafin did not have totalitarian powers. It could be removed by the Oyo and the Oluwo. So the correct answer here is Hausa Fulani precolonial system. Now to the next question. Choose the odd one. A. Citizens. B. Electors. C. Masses. D. Populace. Now you have to be mindful. Citizens refers to everybody in the state who are legal members of that state. Masses refers to everybody who are legal members of that state. Populace refers to everybody who are legal members of a state. The electors refer to that category, a subset within the generality of the masses who have been given, the power to vote, the right to vote. People below 18, they cannot be electors. They don't fall into the category of voters, of electorate. So citizens, masses, and populace are on one hand, electors is on the other hand. So the correct answer is option B. Now to the next question. Choose the odd one. A. Foreign relations, hospitals, schools, and roads. Now, if you look at this, you will see that we are talking about social amenities here. Hospital is a social amenity provided by the government. School is a social amenity. Road is a social amenity. Foreign relations is not a social amenity. It is the responsibility of the government to maintain foreign relations and friendly relationship with other countries. So the odd one here is option A. Mind you, in case you are asked in Jamb, that which government institution is responsible for providing and rendering social amenities, that is public corporation, parastatals, state ventures, government businesses, or public enterprises. Now to the next question. K.C. Ware, that's Kenneth Clinton Ware. He was an Australian philosopher. He's notable for the theory of dash. He propounded the theory of federalism. What's federalism there? That's option A. Jamb propounded sovereignty. We don't have a singular proponent for power. Authority was propounded by a German sociologist called Max Weber. So the correct answer here is option A. Now to the next question. When administrative and political authority is convoluted in a destination, it speaks of dash. To convolute means to compress. When you compress all powers in a single place, you are convoluting it, you are constellating it, you are unifying it, you are fusing it. So which governmental administrative system speaks of putting all governmental powers in a single location? A says sovereignty. Sovereignty is not a system of government. It is the power of a state to make and enforce laws. B says power. Power is the ability of an individual to make others do something. C says federal. Under federal system, powers are not concentrated. Powers are divided. You have the federal government in Abuja and you have 36 state component parts. Are powers convoluted there? No, they are shared and divided. Having eliminated three, we have unity, a system of government where all political, administrative, and governmental powers are located in a single place, convoluted in a single destination. The correct answer is option D. Now to the next question. Who wrote on the concepts premised on support for leaders? There is a governmental concept, and it has to do with support coming from citizens to leaders. And that is what we observe during general elections. Two persons are contesting. Somebody has 70 votes out of 100, another person has 30 out of 100. Who can we say has the support of the people? The person with 70. So what is that concept that has to do with the support that leaders enjoy from citizens? That is legitimacy. And legitimacy was propounded by a German philosopher called Max Weber. So where is Max Weber here? It will be Karl Marx. Karl Marx was on capitalism. John Locke, that's libertarianism. Karl Weber, there's nobody called Karl Weber. The correct answer is D, Max Weber. Now to the next question. Membership of a state is dash. We have said it and I will reiterate it. In government, a state means a country. So it's just like saying membership of a country. So it is compulsory for everyone all over the world to belong to a state or to belong to a country. You can't say you don't want to belong, you can't be stateless. You can choose not to belong to a society. And in government, we say membership of a society is voluntary. You can choose to belong to Christian society, you can choose not to belong. You can choose to belong to Ogboni society, you can choose not to belong. But you cannot choose not to belong to a state. It is compulsory for everyone to belong to a state. Optional means it is voluntary. Voluntary means it is optional. Discretionary means it is optional. The correct answer is D. Membership of a state is compulsory. It is mandatory. It is necessary for everyone to belong to a country. So the correct answer is D. Now to the next question. Who was the manager of palace workers under the Emirate system? That's under pre-colonial administration in Nigeria. And under the Jamb syllabus, we have the Oyo Empire, we have the Igbo pre-colonial system, we have the Acephalous pre-colonial system. Mind you, the Acephalous pre-colonial system is also called the Emirate system or the Sultanate system, because Jamb might twist it. You might not see Emirate this year, you might see Sultanate. It is still the same thing. So who was the manager of palace workers? The person who was heading palace workers, that was the Sarkin father. So where is Sarkin father? It won't be A, Dogari. Dogari was head of police. It won't be B, Sarkin power. Sarkin power was the head of those cutting meats, head of butchers. It won't be C, Maji. Maji was the treasurer of the Emirate. The correct answer is Sarkin father. But is there any Sarkin father here? No. So the answer is D, none of the above. Now to the next question. Choose the hard one. Ashamu, Oluwo, Alapini, Laguna. You know what you are being asked there? We're asking you for the Legitimacy. Under the Oyo Empire, the legislature consisted of the Legitimacy, which had 7 members, and the Legitimacy was headed by the Basharu. We had the Oluwo, we had the Akiniku, we had the Agbake, we had the Laguna, we had the Ashamu, and so on and so forth. So Ashamu is part of the Legitimacy. Alapini is part of Legitimacy. Laguna is part of Legitimacy. Oluwo was not part of Legitimacy. Who was the Oluwo? We have 3 organs. We had 3 organs of government then. Legislation, that's the Legitimacy. We had the executive, that was where you find the Alafin, and we had the judiciary, that was the Awu, the Ogboni. The head of the Ogboni was the Oluwo. He was the head of the Ogboni and the head of the judiciary. So the correct answer here is B. Now to the next question. Choose the odd one out. Okpara, Ozo, Waziri, and Basharu. Okpara was the prime minister in Igbo Precolonial. Waziri was prime minister in Hausa Fulani system, while Basharu was prime minister in Yoruba Precolonial system. So we have 3 prime ministers here, A, C, and D. So we are left with B, Ozo. There was nobody in particular called Ozo. It was a title given to many persons, the Ozo title holders. They were those who could sit with the council of elders on the account of their wealth and their riches. Is that clear? So the correct answer A is option B. Now to the next question. Choose the hard one out. Age grade, Esho, Dogari, Maji. Under the Igbo Precolonial system, we had the age grade. That was the executive. They were responsible for protecting the community from external attack. Under Oyo Empire, we had the Esho, B, that was the military. They were responsible for protecting Oyo Empire from external attack. C, Dogari. In the Hausa pre-colonial system, we had the police, which was headed by the Dogari. You could say the police too were responsible for protecting lives and properties. So lives and properties were protected by A, B, and C. We are left with D, Maji. Who was the Maji? The Maji was the treasurer, the accountant of the Emirate. So he was dealing with money while the other 3 persons were dealing with security. So the correct answer here is D. Now to the next question. Which list contains the obligations of both regional and coordinating governments? That's under federalism. According to Cadet Clinton, where federalism has to do with a system of government where powers are divided between the federal government and the component parts. So the federal government will have their responsibilities, the component part will have their responsibilities. And under the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we have three lists. We have the exclusive list. Anything you see on the exclusive list belongs to the federal government alone. We have the concurrent list, which contains the powers of both the federal and state government, and we have the residual list. The residual list is the list of only the state government. But this question is asking you for the list that contains the obligations of the region, that is the component parts and the coordinating, that is component part and center, states and federal. That's the concurrent lists. Like education, you can have federal university or here, you can have Ekiti State University at Ekiti. You can have federal teaching hospital Ido, you can have Ekiti State University teaching hospital. Any item you see on the concurrent list, federal can do it, state can also do it. So the correct answer here is D. Now to the next question. The ability to compel obedience in an intra-bias means is dash. Now this question is tricky, and as a government student, you have to be smart. If the question had stopped at obedience, the answer would have been power. But it says in an intra-bias, the ability to compel, when you force obedience, when you compel and coerce people to do something, you are using power on them. But the phrase intra-bias, it is a Latin phrase which means according to the law. So if I'm making you to do something in a way that is according to the law, that is authority. But if I'm compelling you to do something, that is power. I'll take it again. When I compel you to do something, that is power. When I compel you to do it in a way that is according to the law, that is legitimate, that is authority. So in a way that is intra-bias, that is option C, authority. Now to the next question. What relates to an autonomous entity's right to manage its affairs devoid of external influences? Now, you have to pick it bit by bit. What is an autonomous entity? In government, autonomy means freedom. It means independence. It means sovereignty. So you can say Nigeria obtained autonomy 1st of October 1960, just like you can say Nigeria obtained independence in 1960. So what relates to a country's right to manage their own affairs? Before 1960, were we able to manage our own affairs? No, we were not. We were being managed by Britain. But by virtue of the independence of October 1, 1960, we received that power, that right, to be able to manage our own affairs by ourselves. And what is that called? That is autonomy. That is independence, and that is sovereignty. What looks like that here? That is option C, sovereignty, the power of a state to manage their affairs without external control. Now to the next question. Which concept relates to the acceptance of government as not illegitimate? You have to be smart. There is always that recurring strategy used by Jamb. They use double negatives, not illegitimate. If something is not illegitimate, it means it is legitimate. So remove that not illegitimate and convert it to legitimate. So now read the question again. Which concept has to do with acceptance of government as legitimate? When a government comes to power in a way that is according to the law, you say they are legitimate. When a government comes to power through the support of the people, through the mandates of the people, that government is legitimate. And in government, that is the concept of legitimacy as propounded by a German sociologist called Max Weber. So where is legitimacy here? That is option D. Now to the next question. The agency which ensures probity and transparency in government business is that it will be judiciary. The duty of the judiciary is to administer justice, to punish law offenders. It will be civil service. The duty of the civil service is to formulate and implement policies. It will be police. The duty of the police is to maintain law within the country. And having eliminated three, what are we left with? Code of Conduct Bureau. That is the institution responsible for administering asset declaration forms, as well as ensuring probity, accountability, and transparency in government business. Now, let me add this. When someone wrongly declares his assets, or there is a falsification in assets, and you submit the form to Code of Conduct, if it is discovered to be falsified by Code of Conduct, what happens? They will take it to a court. They have a special court called Code of Conduct Tribunal. So a question could come out that the judicial body of the Code of Conduct Bureau is called that Code of Conduct Tribunal. Now to the next question. Ensuring balance and fairness in the distribution of appointments and projects under federalism, that is federal character. You know, we have different parts under the country. Lagos is large, Kano is large, Ekiti is small, Bayelsa is small. How do we ensure we carry every part of Nigeria along in a way that everybody can get one thing whenever we are distributing? We want to want to recruit people into the police force. We don't just say, let the best person come. No, we distribute slots. Lagos, take 20 slots. Ekiti, take 10 slots. Every state will have their slots. Will the slots be equal? No. But will every state get slots? Yes. Which concept is that in government? That is federal character. What looks like federal character here? Option D. Now to the next question. Approval of citizenship falls under which legislative list? When a foreigner has lived in Nigeria for close to 15 years, you know, and he desires to be a citizen of Nigeria, he can apply through a process called naturalization. Naturalization. How will he apply? He will submit his request to the Federal Ministry of Interior, and that request will be taken to the executive president for approval. Are you getting now? So anything that has to do with the president is under which list? That is under the exclusive list. Anything done by the federal government is under exclusive list. So approval of citizenship by the executive president is on the exclusive list. That is option C. Now to the next question. Who is the father of democracy? Democracy originated from two Greek words, demos and kratia. If you don't want to say kratia, you can say kratos. Kratos is the singular, kratia is the plural. Demos means people, kratia means government, people, government, government, people, government of the people, government by the people, government of the people. Who invented that idea in Greece thousands of years ago? That is Cleisthenes. He was the inventor and the father of democracy. But in our textbooks, they can now ask you that who defined democracy as government of the people, by the people, and for the people? That was Abraham Lincoln, the American president between 1861 and 1865. Now to the next question. The Ogboni was headed by the Dash. It won't be Basharun. Basharun was not part of Ogboni. He was the head of the Oyo. It won't be Awo. Awo is another name for Ogboni, but we're asking for the head, not another name for Ogboni. It won't be Alaafin. Alaafin was the head of the executive. Ogboni was the judiciary. Having alienated three, what are we left with? Oluwu, the Awo or Ogboni. They were performing spiritual, religious, and judicial functions, and they were headed by an official called the Oluwu. Now to the next question. The association of first daughters in pre-colonial Igbo society. These first daughters, they were responsible for circumcision. They were responsible for taking delivery of babies and so on and so forth. And that was called the Umuada in Igbo pre-colonial system. What looks like Umuada here? That's option D. Now to the next question. Which pre-colonial society was acephalous and decentralized? When a society does not have a distinct head, they might have a group of leaders, but when there is no singular leader that you can refer to as the number one leader, it means they are acephalous. But when the society has one distinct ruler, that is unicephalous. Igbo pre-colonial system was acephalous. They did not have a king, they had council of elders. So they didn't have somebody who stood out like the supreme head. That is acephalous, and they were decentralized. They divided, decision making amongst the elders who came from each family, each clan, and each compound in the community. So what looks like Igbo here? Option A, Igbo pre-colonial system. Now to the next question. The proposal before the legislature for deliberation is that. That's a bill. In the legislature, a bill can come in 2 or 3 ways. Let me attempt it. A proposal before the legislature for deliberation, that's a bill. A proposal before the executive for approval. Now, for approval means the legislature has deliberated on it and they have forwarded it to the executive to sign it. So it is also a bill. Mind you, the power to sign a bill into law is called assent. And there is another power called veto power. That power is the power to reject a bill. But they are asking you for the proposal before the legislature. That is a bill. What looks like a bill here? That's option D. Now to the next question. Laws guiding international organizations. Any organization that consists of 2 or more countries is an international organization. Is that clear? Now, international organizations like UN, international organizations like OPEC, and so on and so forth. What are the set of rules and laws that governs international organizations? They are called treaties. They are called pacts. They are called charters. They are called protocols. They are called conventions. So, out of those five things, what looks like the answer here? It's not legislation, not custom, not constitution, conventions, option D. Now to the next question. An agreement between two or more countries. An agreement between two or more countries is also called a treaty or a pact. A treaty or a pact. That's option A. It won't be B, de jure. De jure means according to law. Custom enforced, there's nothing like that. It won't be gazette. Gazette refers to the documents of the laws of the executive. That's gazette. So option A is the correct answer. Now to the next question. The officials who collected tributes and protected trade routes in the Oyo Empire. The Oyo Empire was large, from Ekiti to Akure, to Ife, to Ibadan, to up to Dahomey in present-day Benin Republic. They were under the Oyo Empire. And the king customarily collected tributes, Ishakole, from all these axes. Now, to be able to facilitate smooth conduct of trade, to protect trade routes, particularly the Egbado aspect, where there was, constant commercial flow of commercial activities, the Alaafin of Oyo appointed some officials who served as emissaries, representatives. Are you getting now? They were called the Ajele. They protected the trade routes. They served as representatives to other communities, and sometimes they also helped their Alaafin to spy for information from other land. It won't be a shore. A shore means military, headed by or Kakamfo. It won't be Oluwo. Oluwo was the head of the Ogboni. It won't be Ilari. The Ilari were those guys who had, a special line on their head. They were living in the palace. They were managing the affairs of the palace. Are you getting now? So the correct answer here is Ajele. Now to the next question. Which of these is a subordinate law? In governments, we have what we call statutes. Statutes are laws made by the legislature. They are also called Act of Parliament, also called legislations, also called enactments. So when the legislature makes a law, they are called those things. But when an institution that is not under the legislature directly makes a law, that law is called subordinate law. When an executive makes a law, it is called subordinate law. When the judiciary makes a law, it's a subordinate law. When local government makes a law, it's a subordinate law. In government, subordinate law is also called secondary law or delegated legislation. So which of these is a delegated legislation or statute or subordinate law? Statutes are made by institutions that should make laws. So legislations are made by institutions that should make laws. Acts are made by institutions that should make laws. Other institutions, aside from the legislature, when they make laws, their own laws are called subordinate laws. An example is case law. Case law is made by the judiciary. So the body of laws made by the judiciary are called case laws, otherwise called the decided cases, otherwise called judicial precedents or previous court judgments. Now to the next question. A court directive which protects the freedom of citizens against unlawful detention. We have a writ. We have the writ of certiorari, the writ of mandamus. We have the writ of habeas corpus. We have prohibitive writ. We have the writ of quo warranto. But there is a writ, a court order, a court directive. That's a writ. A court order, an injunction, which directs the police to release a detained person. Maybe someone has been arrested by the police and they detain the person in cell without bringing the person to court. So the family of the person can approach the court, and the lawyer can apply for a writ of habeas corpus. The judge or the magistrate will approve it, and that writ is a court order directing the police to release that detained person and bring him to court. Let's know what he has done, whether we should set him free or we should set him to jail. But don't detain him unjustly. That court order, that court directive, that writ is called writ of habeas corpus. Where is habeas corpus here? That is option D. It will be nolle prosequi. Nolle prosequi refers to an order of the executive through the chief law officer discontinuing a case. It will be certiorari. It will be habeas order. The correct answer is D. Now to the next question. Becoming a member of Ozo was based on that. Under the Igbo precolonial system, we are the Ofo title holders, we are the Ozo title holders. For you to be a member of the Ofo, you must be the oldest person from your family. You represent your family amongst the elders. But for you to be an Ozo, you must be given that chieftaincy title because you are wealthy and because you are rich. So what qualifies you to be an Ozo title holder? Is it age or riches? The answer is riches. Let's look for what looks like wealth or riches here. It won't be age. Age determines for Ofo. It won't be gender. It won't be importance. The answer is riches or wealth, and that will be none of the above, option D. Now to the next question. Balance and fairness under federalism is geared towards promoting dash. Now, federalism will cater for the needs of the minorities. Federalism will ensure that every part of the country is carried along. Are you getting now? When resources are to be distributed, when appointments are to be distributed, there will be quota, there will be slot. Each state will have slot and quota. Are you getting now? But will each state have equal quota? That's not possible. Are you getting now? Kano has 44 local governments. They will definitely have more slots than Bayelsa with about 7 or 8 local governments. So, but will every aspect of the country be catered for? Yes. So what is the purpose of ensuring balance and fairness? Is it to make everybody equal? No. But to ensure equity. Equity means everybody will get, even though it might not be equal. What looks like equity here? That's option D. Now to the next question. A court pronouncement and directive while the case is ongoing is dash. Now, while the case is ongoing, the court can issue a directive, and that is a court order. But it differs from a judgment. What is a judgment? A judgment is the end of a case, the decision of a court that ends a case. So, a court order could be like an order to produce someone to appear in court while the case is ongoing. So, the correct answer here is court order. That's option D. Now to the next question. The type of authority associated with potentials and graces, according to a German sociologist named Max Weber, he expanded and excogitated, on 3 types of authority. The first one was traditional authority associated with traditional rulers. The second one was legal rational authority associated with people who have come to power through the law. And the last one is called charismatic authority, personal authority, or individual authority. This is a type of authority associated with your skill, your talent, your grace. So the type of authority associated with potentials and grace, that is, it looks like it should be systematic, but it is charismatic, not charismatic. So the correct answer is option D, personal authority. Now to the next question. The modern exponent of political culture. The first person to write a book on political culture was a French philosopher known as Alexis de Tocqueville. Alexis de Tocqueville. But in modern times, we have 2 guys who are popular for the concept of political culture. They are Gabriel Almond and Sidney Weber. So what looks like Almond and Weber here? That is option A, Almond. I did mean the question asking for the first person. That will be Tocqueville. But the correct answer here is Almond, option A. Now to the next question. Disputes amongst non-coordinate divisions of government are resolved by the dash. Now, under any form of government, disputes are resolved by the judiciary. Is that clear? Another word for judiciary is judication. Another word for judication is courts. So what looks like judiciary, judication, or court here? That is option D. Plenum is another word for legislature or parliament. It will be executive. It looks like it should be court of law, but this is C-U-R-T, not C-O-U-R-T. This is tricky. So the correct answer is judication. Now to the next question. Policy formulation was not unfamiliar. That's double negative. Whenever you see negative will cancel negative to give you what? Positive. So let us rephrase the question. Policy formulation was familiar to be associated with the dash under Igbo precolonial system. What is the meaning of formulating policies? To take decisions that would direct the affairs of the community. And that was the duty of the Ofo title holders. Now, what looks like Ofo here? That is option C. That was the Council of Elders. Now to the next question. 91st question. Possessing no outstanding governmental head. When you get to a place and there is nobody you can identify as the person who is the topmost head of the place, that is an Acephalous system. Acephalous. But when you get to a place and there is one person you can point to as the head of the place, that is unicephalous. When you get to a place and there are two persons you can point to as the head, that is bicephalous, dicephalous, or duocephalous. When you get to a place and you have more than two that you can point to, that is called consociational executive or collegiate executive. But no outstanding head is called acephalous. Option B. Now to the next question. Hausa non-illegitimate states were called dash. Now, we have two set of states, 7 illegitimate states and 7 legitimate states. The legitimate states were called Hausa Bokoi, while the illegitimate states were called Hausa Banza. But look at the question. The question says, Hausa not illegitimate, double negative. When something is not illegitimate, it means it is legitimate. So the question now becomes, Hausa legitimate states were called Hausa Bokoi. Hausa Bokoi. Now to the next question. Sarkin Musulumi means dash. You know, Sarkin means head. And Musulumi has to do with Muslims. Are you getting now? Adherents and people who practice Islam. So who was the head of Muslims under the Hausa Precolonial system? That was Uthman Danfodio, who led a jihad war between 1804 to 1810. Jihad war was a religious war to forcefully convert people into Islam. So the head, Sarkin Musulumi, the head of Muslim, was Uthman Danfodio. Now to the next question. The costs awarded against defamation of character is dash. When you spoil my reputation or character, whether through what you wrote down or what you said with your mouth, I can take it to court and take it to court and allege defamation and ask the court to compel you to pay me compensation. What is that compensation called? It is called damages. Damages. So the correct answer is what? Damages. Now to the next question. Who wrote on federalism? The philosopher associated with federalism was an Australian philosopher called K.C. Ware, and the full meaning is Kenneth Clinton Ware. Kenneth Clinton Ware. Now to the next question. Which Nigerian pre-colonial society was an amalgamation of kingdoms and chiefdoms? That was your Yoruba pre-colonial system, the Oyo Empire. You know, we had the Alaafin, but we also had Obas. There were different kingdoms under the Oyo Empire. The Alaafin was the head of the entire empire. We had Obas who were the head of towns. We had Baale who were the head of villages, and we had the Mogaji Igbo who were the head of streets and wards under the Oyo Empire. Now to the next question. A binding agreement between two or more countries is called a dash. The answer is treaty or pacts. Treaty or pacts. So an agreement between two or more countries is called what? Treaty or pacts. Now to the next question. Statutes are also called dash. When laws are made by the body that should make laws, and that's the legislature. When the legislature makes a law, such laws are called statutes or statutory laws. But statutory laws or statutes are also called legislations. Legislations. So it's either you call them legislations or you call them enactments. Enactment. Or you call them acts of parliament. Acts of parliament. Is that clear? So that's about that. Now to the next question. The use of words to incite rebellion. When through your words you motivate, spur, and incite people to disobey the state or to take up arms against the state, that is called sedition. So when you motivate people to go into rebellion, revolution, or insurrection, whether through the word of your mouth or what your actions, are you getting now? That is sedition in government. And this is the spelling of sedition. Sedition. Now to the next question. Layers of government are also called dash. You know, under government, we have something called arms of government. Arms are like this. No arm is greater than the other arm. They are at coordinate level. That's legislature, executive, or judiciary. Arms are also called branches or organs of government. They are equal. But we have some institutions of government that are not equal. We have the federal, we have the states, and the local. The federal is higher than the state, and the state is higher than the local. This categorization is called layers of government. We call them layers of government. We call them tiers of government. We call them strata of government. We call them levels of government.